Thanaletchimi.
Mr. Speaker, sir, I stand in support of the bill. In general, the amendments in the first part of the Act aim to expand the restrictions to include mobility vehicles and motorized wheelchair, ban on all shared paths and footpaths, increase accountability through registration, and empower outsourced enforcement. These four areas are critical to help reduce the incidence of accidents involving personal mobility devices, PMD in short, power-assisted bicycles, PAB in short, mobility vehicles, and motorized wheelchairs. Nevertheless, the amendments are in line with the overall goal of encouraging more Singaporeans to adopt an active lifestyle by encouraging more alternative forms of transport in their daily commute. On the amendments on Section 41, Clause 20, sufficient information ought to be circulated to the public to inform them of the conferment of power on outsourced enforcement officers. It is important that the public know and recognize the authority given to active mobility patrol, AMP, and public path wardens, PPW, to facilitate law enforcement. One of the difficulties faced by such volunteers was convincing people of their authority despite having LTA card. Quite a handful of cyclists and riders of personal mobility devices do not believe that the AMP volunteers have the power to stop them. This is worrying. Recognizing such authority is pivotal for the officers to carry out their jobs without fear and prejudice. Additionally, information on how to recognize and distinguish between what classifies as a PMD, PAB, or motorized wheelchairs should be stepped up to encourage awareness among the public on what is allowed for acceptable use. Public education is imperative. Sellers too need to be educated and are required to provide and display such information in a reasonably visible manner when one purchases such device. On the amendments of Section 67, subsection 2 in Clause 34, the minimum age for a person to be registered should be thoroughly reviewed in tandem with evidence-based data. For example, we should look at the demographics of the individuals that were involved in accidents and then peg the pseudo-legal age. We should also note that the requirement for critical judgment when riding the PMDs is no less than that required of a driver. Food for thought to be considered. While it is a straightforward solution to ban PMDs on shared paths and footpaths, we should question the impact on people who rely on PMDs to commute to work or use it for work, such as in the case of some food delivery personnel. Additionally, we also must take special care to ensure that these new regulations do not affect users of PABs and motorized wheelchairs, which rely on these vehicles as their primary mobility aid. Instead of banning it altogether, we can consider a system where PMDs can be used on footpaths during off-peak hours where human traffic flow is minimal to minimize disruption to users with legitimate needs and users. In conclusion, the amendments in bills focus extensively on fines and penalties. Moving forward, could we also consider looking towards an incentive-based scheme or system that rewards people who conform to these rules and regulations and have a clean record? To put things in perspective, instead of giving summons when one has erred, an incentive-based system could be the situation where upon registration of the mobility vehicle, a lump sum disguised as tax is collected. Upon end of every work year, should individual not err, the lump sum will be returned to that individual. Perhaps this may invoke a healthier habit of keeping safe and conforming to the rules rather than people trying to evade punishments. So with this, I support the bill. Thank you.